That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? I love my MCU. Clearly, there have been a bunch of projects they've put out in the last number of years that I have not distinctly loved. But overall, I love the MCU. And one of my absolute favorite guys in the MCU is Chris Hemsworth's Thor. I think Thor Ragnarok is one of the best films that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done. Not so much Thor Love and Thunder, but it is what it is. But there's been a lot of talk going around about, some people thought that Chris Hemsworth might be done playing the God of Thunder. Then there have been some reports saying, Marvel is circling to do another Thor movie, which has me excited because I love this character. I love it when I love the character himself. I love the way Chris Hemsworth plays it. I love that Chris Hemsworth evolves the character, so he's always a little bit different. Even when it doesn't work out so well, like in Thor Love and Thunder. But still, I love him as this. Well, now, a new report has come out that is suggesting that they now actually may even have a title for it. This comes to us from the folks over at Superhero Hype who are reporting this. According to Scooper Daniel Richmond, Marvel Studios is developing a new MCU project called Thor Quest. No further details beyond that were provided. This is merely a rumor at this time and should be taken with a grain of salt, as there has been no formal announcement about a Thor Quest project, and Hemsworth is only confirmed to return to the MCU in Avengers Doomsday. Now, the article goes on to point out that there was a kid's book that they put out a couple of years ago, specifically called Thor Quest, which involved Thor and Loki when they were younger. So I don't know, maybe it's a movie where it's like kid versions of Thor. Maybe it's like, Rob, maybe it's like their Star Wars skeleton crew, but in the Thor universe.
Yeah.
Little Thor and little Loki. That's Loki when he's working out. Yoki. So little Thor and little Loki are running around the cosmos, getting into mischief, and then they come across something that maybe comes into play a little bit later on with Avengers Doomsday. I don't know. That's just pure speculation. Or what it is most likely is that's just the name of the new adult Thor film. Now, again, this is coming from one of these online scoopers that is sometimes quite right and sometimes wrong. So take it with a big grain of salt. I don't mind the title, but Rob, to me, it's just the big part of this story to me is that it's another confirmation that they are indeed moving in the direction of another Thor movie, because we've heard the reports before that they are planning on doing another Thor. Chris Hemsworth is planning on being Thor again outside of an Avengers film, and this seems to double down on that. Do you think we are going to get another standalone Thor film? If so, do you like the idea of Thor Quest? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, the Thor franchise, I mean, there's been 4 Thor movies, and even Love and Thunder, which is a movie I really actively dislike, made like $750 million. So it's always been a stable earner in the 4 movies that they've made with Chris Hemsworth. And I think, like you said, Chris Hemsworth as Thor is an irresistible screen presence. I mean, talk about perfect casting. From his voice to his physicality to his sense of humor. I love that idea, what Nate's saying about George Miller directing it. I mean, the action would be insane if they did something like that. And I could definitely see, I don't know how many more movies Chris Hemsworth has in him. We're coming up with, by the time Secret Wars or whatever is all over, you're looking at the MCU is going to be celebrating its 20th anniversary in 3 years. And that's a lot. That's a lot of life to spend. I mean, Hugh Jackman obviously has got him beat, but still to have to deal with that physique to make those movies, man, that's got to be rough. And, but I could definitely see a new Thor movie getting made. I think, in terms of box office, it's stable. If Thor Love and Thunder can make 750 million or something, I mean, you could get a Thor movie if it was directed by somebody like George Miller up to $1 billion, I think. I mean,
well, it's already flirting. It's flirting with that number already, right? Like when you look at Thor Ragnarok and the box office results of Thor Love and Thunder.
I mean, who doesn't love the character? And, he's so great. His presence is so great. I mean, look, I love like Chris Evans as Captain America, but I think an argument could be made that Chris Hemsworth is the best character in the MCU in terms of what he's supposed to be doing.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Thor has maybe the single greatest scene in the MCU. That scene, I think it's in Infinity War,
with Rocket.
when he's in the ship with Rocket, and that whole moment when he's just going on about all of his loss and everything he's lost and all the prices he's had to pay and the sacrifices he's had in his life. Like, these guys, my friends, they're dead. My sister's dead. My dad is dead. My brother is dead again for the 5th or 6th or 7th time. My world is destroyed. All this kind of stuff. And like, and then Rocket, paraphrasing, what if you're wrong? And he goes, well, then what do I have left to lose? It's one of the best, I think it is the best performed scene in all the MCU. And here's the other thing about it, Rob, is at this point with where the MCU is right now, Thor has never been more important, because when you're especially talking about the core Avengers, right? Natasha's gone. Hawkeye's semi-sidelined. Tony's gone to a degree. Cap is gone to a degree. Like, he's kind of like the last really remaining pillar of the glory era of the MCU.
Yeah.
And, I always say it's like a sports analogy. Like, when you're rebuilding a team, you don't just go all young. You try to have a mixture of new young players with some veteran players as well for all kinds of stuff. And I think, one of the things that the MCU has done that's been a mistake in phases 5 and whatever has been, they've been so eager to rush new characters that the MCU's kind of lost a bit of its identity, because it's been nothing but new characters, even the ones I love, like Shang-Chi and whatever, but it's new characters. And it's like, I think in that context, making sure you still have a stable, hopefully good Thor project going with Chris Hemsworth. He's kind of now like the elder statesman of the MCU at this point, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's got 4 solo films under his belt. I mean, look, even like, I love Captain America. What Joe Johnston did directing Captain America, the First Avenger, was great and it was charming. But it wasn't until we got Winter Soldier that Chris Evans's Captain America was cemented as one of the GOATs of the MCU. I would say of the 3 main pillars of the MCU, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, I would say that Cap, with his first solo movie, was probably the lesser of the 3. But by giving him his second movie, that's when people are like, oh my God, I love this so much. That you meet Sam Wilson, the whole on your left thing at the beginning of the movie. Then Natasha picks him up to go on that boat. The scene, it was amazing. Shang-Chi never got that, and it's been 4 years since the first movie came out. They've never followed up really any of these characters with a second film. So the first phases 1, 2, and 3 of the MCU were really carefully built. Cap, Iron Man, and Thor got their trilogies of movies. So you have 9 movies that were building these characters, these pinnacles of the MCU. So you really got to know them. They got their own trilogies within the larger MCU, and they've never gone back to do that again. And I think that's been a mistake. And Thor is the only one. I mean, he's going to get his 5th solo movie. I think the MCU needs it. I think you need like an anchor character, man.
And of course, Hulk could have been one of those, except they turned him into a Hawaiian shirt family barbecue attending Hulk. But so it's not even really Hulk anymore. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? According to reports out there right now that it looks like Marvel might actually be moving forward with another Thor project, which is something we've heard before, but they might even have a title at this point calling it Thor Quest. How do you feel about it? Do you see it the way we see it, that Thor is actually even more important right now to the MCU than ever before? Whatever you guys think or feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.